How long you been with AR now?
This is going on 2 months. 2 months now.
Yeah, fresh.
Fresh. I didn't expect the community that you have with your coaches. And everybody can eat. And share knowledge, growing as a unit, and setting these standards so we all can keep climbing. That was my biggest surprise.
Welcome back to AR Podcast. My name is Mike Crowson, and today I have on a special guest, also a newly relocated to Dallas native who actually met inside the gym, which is cool enough. So if that's anything, open your mouth in public. You can build relationships, you can build connections. And there's a lot of actually what you've done also too to get your business where it's at today. Former NFL running back, along with IFBB Pro. Man, welcome, dude. Give a quick introduction to yourself and how long you've been coaching now.
Oh, man. My name is Delone Carter, a.k.a. Big Grit. I've been coaching for ever since I got out the NFL, actually. So that's 2015, 16-ish. Diving in to show, elite man how to, have that 1%er mindset, and give that same intention to their physique as they do their career.
Well, man, as somebody that is a pro in two different professional sports, if you would, I have to argue that it had to come fairly easy naturally from an athletic background.
I would have to rebuttal saying it didn't. It didn't. I was never the top guy. I always had to dig deep and kind of go harder than the next guy to prove who I was.
All right. So I love that because, the name Big Grit come from having to obviously get your hands dirty. So walk me through what it looked like for you from a starting standpoint to how often did we play, let's say, in the college side of it? Like, were we always starting, had to work our way up? Where did we go out in the draft? Like, give me a background of that work ethic that made you get to the next level.
So, you're always going to have somebody that put limitations on you through what they objective opinion, And in Pee Wee, it started early. They wanted me to play defensive end because I was quick, but they didn't know if I was fast enough. I was strong, I was shifty, so I can get around big guys easy. But I wanted to run the ball. Bo Jackson was my guy, too much so to where I suffered a kind of the same injury, but we'll get there. So the coach told me if I have 8 sacks, I could run the ball. Got my 8 sacks in the game, and he said, all right, Carter, you up. And I ran a power. And took it about 90, 95 yards. Probably I tripped about 4 yards from the end zone. But they was, oh, no, this guy can tote the rock, And ever since then, every level I went to, I would put in the work. Because I came up in the era of watching Herschel Walker, Bo Jackson, and those guys were retired. But that's the guys that my grandfather, idolized. So I understood work ethic, Jerry Rice, sweetness and the work ethic that they would put in. And I had no problem doing that outside of practice to perform at a higher level when I got in front of my coaches.
Dude, that's awesome. And so going through all that, like what was the biggest lesson that you learned from a coach?
You can't take their perception of you as your identity. You have to hold your own. They can show you some tools, to excel, but at the end of the day, how they perceive you, you can't accept that, and you have to have a higher expectation of yourself and create a belief in their disbelief to let them know that if they want to win, they got to count on you.
So how does that translate into with the men you work with today?
So we all have a vision of ourselves that we see that hasn't came to fruition yet. And for the overachiever, that has done great things, there's no limit to what you want to achieve. So if you're getting 1% better every day by putting forth the extra credit, the work, you need structure to do so. You need commitment to do so to always become your higher self. And that's not just the weight room, that's spiritually, mentally, and physically. It's a holistic approach.
So for that guy that has that really nice job, got the nice car, but doesn't have the body or health to match it, what usually becomes the thing that makes them click and go, I got to get it together?
When they understand that, all right, I have all these worldly possessions, but physically and spiritually, I'm kind of empty and my clock is running out. So I'm not going to enjoy the wealth that I amassed, So am I, are these tools defining me, or am I living with these tools? Because I know a lot of successful men that have all those things but don't feel fulfilled because they're not stepping forth as their best self, and they know that clock. All right, I might have a heart attack at 50, when you could be being your best self at 50.
Did you ever have a personal journey with this same thought process or mindset, or have you always had that that health in mind first?
Um, it wasn't that to the extent as it is now until I faced a moment with my hip replacement in college. Prior to the NFL, I had a choice to accept what the doctors tell me, as far as I'm not going to be able to play football again because I have suffered a hip dislocation, a fracture of my acetabulum. So they relocated it and put 6 screws over my acetabulum. That's the socket that it sits in, the ball joint. And it was like, oh, you probably won't be able to run the same. You won't be as powerful. And, I could have accepted that, but they say there's a chance you can if AVN doesn't set in, which is blood flow to the joint. So, due to my faith in God and my attitude and actually learning the body on a deeper level, I was able to come back and become a 4th-round draft pick to the Indianapolis Colts in 2011. So that whole journey helped me understand physical fitness on a deeper level than just physical performance. It taught me longevity, ways around the structure of training, because when you're an athlete, you learn one way to train, and that's explosive training and
Right.
velocity-based training. It taught me, how to slow down, give muscle fibers, different type 2, type 1 muscle fiber, a chance to develop. So tendon integrity will be more, resilient for you to perform those movements, and taking the time through structure and planning to get back. It took me to a whole different level.
So I think it's for a lot of people might not really grasp the concept that we had major hip surgery and then got drafted.
Absolutely.
That is crazy. That's the miracle of the whole story right there. Getting drafted ain't one thing. Having a hip replacement and then get drafted, that's a whole other thing. How does one deal with the mental side of, like, you obviously knew before the hip injury, we got a shot. We got a shot, like everything's lining up, like, we got the time on the field, the stats are lining up, and then boom, detrimental injury. How
Man,
does one get through that?
it's a challenge to control your mental, because we're humans, and when doubt creeps in, actions follow. And if you listen to those doubts and give that more power than what you believe you are called to do, you're going to go that way. Like I said, I leaned on God. I'm a believer, and without that base, I wouldn't have been able to come through that. It was days where I would be feeling good, and then scar tissue break up, and I can't put weight on my right leg. And so diving into that faith, understanding that I have the knowledge and structure to attain physically what I wanted to do, was understanding that I was blessed with a gift, but now I'm about to put that gift to work.
With that person that is making that transition in their life from, hey, I want to get back healthy, they have to have some of those same thoughts of being down on themselves for how far they've let things go or get out of hand. What's the first thing that you tell somebody that is hard on themselves, that they've made it this far or they've gained 50 pounds over the last 10 years? How do we get them, or what is your thought process, or what do you give them to get that mindset to be shifted?
What I tell people like that is, look, you can't be afraid to look in the mirror and know your identity versus your lie identity. So what I mean is we have these obstacles in place and we know how we showing up. That's you showing up like that. So now that we're addressing ourselves, now let's go into our identity and attack how we're showing up in the right manner to show up to build habits, the right habits to step into our real identity. If you can't face where it's at right now because you're too ashamed, then you can't get beyond it. So, knowing that, all right, if I'm drinking 3 times a week, how am I going to burn that body fat or give my body a chance to burn that body fat when it's attacking alcohol the entire time? My cortisol is here because I'm hustling and bustling and working and I'm drinking wine to decompress. And now cortisol is shooting up. I'm holding on to fat and, I'm not getting the sleep quality to show up as my best self. But, I'm going to just keep on doing this and then have this success here and not being able to enjoy it because my health is declining. So it's just things you have to be realistic about when you're addressing yourself. And when you take that mentality to it and you have wins, you become more resilient.
What is the difference between identity and lie identity?
So lie identity is I got so much going on that I can't make time for what I need to make time for because I'm showing up in this aspect of life so much. Or I got 5 kids and I'm providing and I got to make sure they eating and all this and that. So I'll put this to the side, when, all right, if I got 5 kids and I know they getting up at 6:30 a.m., I'm going to make sure I wake up at 4 a.m. 3 times a week to set my intentions on myself for 45 minutes to an hour. And now my energy is high. I'm showing up. I'm perky, making breakfast and dropping them off to school. And then I'm going to attack my work day, So it's making a conscious choice to do what's uncomfortable till it becomes habit and comfortable.
If there's something you said there, I think a lot of people miss the ball on is that one, a lot of people can be like, man, that's early. The other one is that, and be perky. That's a choice.
That's a choice. Yeah.
It's a choice. And it's like, how am I showing up in the morning for my kids? Are they like, hey, dad's the best guy in the morning? Or is it like, don't talk to dad before he has his coffee? Right? Choice. I love the fact that you brought that in there because that to me is so important because the behavior you have is a choice. Absolutely. And how you show up for others during that time frame is also a choice. And so it's like choosing to be that guy versus, yeah, you can be the overworked, tired dad. But just the fact that you added that in there is important. And I think a lot of people probably didn't catch that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. How you present yourself to your family. If I'm going out here in the world and I'm presenting myself as my best self and I'm coming to my family giving them pennies, that's backwards. That's backwards.
Who is your favorite type of client? Describe them to me.
Man, a guy, any entrepreneur that's frustrated with how they are outside of work hours. If you can't stand yourself outside of work hours, but you're willing to find structure and you're not motivated, you're just wanting to show up to build that discipline. I don't need motivation. I need commitment. And if you are committed to you, that's, again, another choice to show up for yourself. And if you're showing up for yourself on a consistent basis, it's not a problem for you to show up for others. So I just need commitment, you to commit to you. If you want me to commit to you with the same enthusiasm that you want for your business, do that for you so you can be great on all cylinders.
What's something that a client taught you?
Patience. Patience. You get a lot of different personalities and you pay attention to different people because again, I'm a believer in a higher power. God is my source, and I believe He speaks through us through dealing with each other. And it's always different things I learned from clients, like, all right, one might have a hard time. Oh, I can't get to sleep because of this, or that. Or one might, well, I'm tired because of work and this. And, well, I say structure is everything. It's always a structure you can put in place to attack these issues, right? And one was frustrating me because he was always concentrating on the scale. I'm like, the scale don't matter. The scale has nothing to do with aesthetics and how you look. Body fat and measuring your body fat and understanding how much body fat you're holding to muscle density is what we're looking for here. So when we let that go, we release stress. And once he stopped paying attention to the scale and he understood the macros on a different level, he flipped the switch as far as how he was showing up to me, to his family, to his wife. And that is the biggest thing that I learned from clients, how to get them to that point to where now it's not a strain. It's a machine that's running itself. Because I'm not looking to hold nobody's hand. I'm looking to show you freedom, and I win. It's a mutual win-win. You know what I'm saying? Because it's an edifying feeling to me. And we grow closer. Now we boys. Now when I'm talking to you, you're not, oh, you getting on my nerves. You telling me to do this. No, it's like, what's up, bro? So this is what it is now. Yeah, man. This is where I'm at too. So we in it together. These are our phases I'm going to. Oh, the body has adapted. So what a refeed look like? Oh, let's have a refeed together. You know what I'm saying? And understanding the freedom from the discipline.
When would you implement a refeed for those that don't know what a refeed is?
So the scale is always going to stalemate. You're going to reach a point to where the body like, oh, we figuring out what's going on here, and I take that tactic to show you that that's how life is. When it happens in business, when you get stuck at a point or your business is operating at a high level and now you have to pivot in your processes, your body is the same way. So now we need to introduce some new food or some old food that might be bad, called a cheat meal. We're not going to have a cheat day. We're going to have a cheat meal because your body's going to turn on to burn that. So now your metabolism is boosting. And now that when you go right back to your macros, it's burning at a high level again. Now you didn't trick the system. Same thing in business. All right, I'm acquiring new clients. I have this many clients. I have to figure out a structure to maximize my reach and not offer that same, time that's going to burn me out.
Mm-hmm. Well, awesome, man. Dude, I appreciate you feeling some insight on there. You are the first NFL player that's come on. I've had MLB, not so you can't be the first person in a league, but it's very rare you get somebody that well, I'll be honest, that can coach and play. As well as I do, there's a lot of great players that not necessarily the best coaches.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why there's people that's really great coaches also can't play.
Mm-hmm.
And because I also feel that coaching is nothing more than actually just getting somebody to understand and adhere. I don't have to be the best at the game to teach you how to play the game. Right? But when you understand the game and can play the game and then also coach people on how to play the game, then you become like very, very well versed in strategies, tactics, mentalities, like breakthroughs, aha moments. Because it was like, well, what would I do if I was playing it? How would I execute it? And then we bring that back to the other person to teach them. So it's pretty remarkable what you've been able to accomplish and do. And it just also goes to show that your variety of education and knowledge base, just across the fitness industry as a whole, from athletics all the way down to nutrition, because I usually find that nutrition and athletics typically don't always go together.
Not at all.
Out of curiosity, tell me somebody in the league that just ate you ain't gotta give me a name, but like somebody just ate like garbage. Like what was like the worst pregame food you've seen?
Man, if you would have seen some of the things. All right, so as a rookie, you're going to get the meals to the guys on the flights. So, all right, rookie, go pick this up. Give me some Popeyes and give me some Penn Station. Bring it to the plane. So you getting all the vets meals. And I used to be like, this is what y'all eat prior to going to the game, and all they think is, oh, let's carb load. Da da da. They don't understand, and then it catches them after, probably going into that next contract, or when they're retired and they're like, man, I'm fat and I don't feel like working now because my joints ache. And nutrition plays a huge part in that, So why grind from 8 to 9 years old and then become, and go to your retirement as a fat slob? I don't get it. So I deal with a lot of those guys too. And then once they understand, okay, now I can train because my joints aren't as inflamed because of my nutrition is dialed in. My supplementation is good. I'm taking turmeric, glucosamine, and I'm feeling good now. So it's structure and knowledge is everything, man. It's patience with yourself. That's it.
What was your go-to meal?
Oh, now you put me on the spot. I'm a cheeseburger guy. I'm a cheeseburger guy because you're gonna feel that jolt. So I would get Five Guys and try to limit the fries, but I would go to that red meat in the burger, and I had to slow that down because I was eating Five Guys probably 3 times a week, you know what I mean? And I'm like, no. And then the team will provide bison burgers, and I'm having 4 bison burgers after practice. Yeah, man.
Man was killing some burgers.
Oh man.
So is that your post bodybuilding show?
Oh yeah.
Burger, hands down. What's the burger joint you like?
Oh, I experiment, So
Have you been to Rodeo Goat?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
As soon as I got to Dallas, I was like, okay, what's Rodeo Go? Yeah, all right. And the fries? Woo!
I'm a fan. I like the man, what's it called? It's like a ranch one.
Yeah, I know exactly. I don't know the name of it, but yeah, I tried that one.
Man, I forget. But I can tell you, it's got like a little marmalade, a little arugula, some goat cheese. I think it's good.
And that's the thing about
my wife's favorite too.
Be careful with food out here. Y'all have so much good food. I'm like, nah.
Dallas got some good food. It's got some good food. I'm a fan. So, well, dude, how long you been with AR now?
This is going on 2 months. 2 months now.
Yeah, fresh. From your perspective, tell the story of us meeting in person.
Oh man, I think I was getting ready for Pittsburgh Pro, and I had a client in there that I was training with, and I see this big guy walking behind me talking about, hey man, your back is huge. You must be getting ready for something, and it's you. And we just got to talking, man, and it was just very authentic, and told you what I came out here to accomplish. And I believe everything happens in divine order, and your energy was just so, genuine, and what you were telling me was just so on point to what I needed to transition out here to Dallas and get things going and reclaim my time and my reach. And it's just been a great experience thus far. I can't wait to continue to learn, because that's all it's about, learning and applying. And every coach needs to be able to get coached, and you need to be humble enough to receive the critique. And I love how you bring the critiques, and your team is awesome. So it's just been great so far, and I can't wait to keep diving in.
Well, I appreciate that, man. If I recall, you were 3 weeks out, which, at 3 weeks mark, it's like you ain't quite fully flat, but you are lean as all get out. So that's when a person looks just crazy. 6 weeks, they still full. 3 weeks, you start to get depleted, but also your skin is like paper thin.
Yeah.
And then 1 week out, you just flat, but you just lean. You look super dry looking. And then it's a whole thing. But yeah, man, I was like, yeah, no one walks around like that. The question always is, how many weeks out?
Yep.
So, well, man, hopefully I can go up in Pittsburgh and join you in the Pro League. I got my show coming up September 2nd at North Americans up in Pittsburgh. So we're gonna go back here in about 8 weeks and try to make it happen. But
You're gonna kill it, brother, and you know I'm rooting for you.
well, I appreciate that, man. In your mind, like, what's been your biggest surprise that AR funnel has done, or that's been beneficial to you so far?
I didn't expect the community that you have with your coaches. Meeting you in the gym, that was dope. But to see you and the coaches come to Dallas and go through your learning thing and then go to the gym together and really have that camaraderie is something special to see, because a lot of people, I'm big on community, and everybody can eat and share knowledge, growing as a unit, and setting these standards so we all can keep climbing is that was my biggest surprise.
Yeah, because you saw us at a workshop like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we brought the crew in Friday afternoon to train. You were there. And essentially that's where you got to meet the rest of those guys. And yeah, man, the workshops we really, really, really enjoy. It is a community thing, hands down. I think with everything between AI and group calls and all those things, like there's a lot of isolation still. And I think learning with proximity is super helpful. I think networking with other coaches is super helpful. And I think you to build those relationships with people on a deeper level. I think a lot of insecurities are overcome by being side by side with somebody that's already doing it above where you're at.
That part.
Mm-hmm. That's a big one. Otherwise, it's like, well, yeah, that's just not for me, or they're built different. But it's like, yeah, but if we're sharing weights, we're sharing food, we're sharing space, we're sharing stories. It's like, hey, man, we're just two dudes. We're just in different seasons. Mm-hmm. And that becomes the thing, is like, how do we get to the next season? It's like, well, let's learn from people that are in a different season. So that way you can prepare for it. But the workshops it's been our favorite thing to do as a whole, which is now why we're having them so much. So, well, dude, man, I know that we're so fresh on the platform, just launched out. What is your goal? Let's say in 90 days from now, what's our goal?
90 days is really pivoting in my content and my content creation, because I'm just a guy that, all right, show up and we're going to put the work in. I'm not a big, salesy guy, but learning how to show my knowledge and have the content reflect that to build my community is my biggest 90-day focus. And just, growing my community and, helping these guys that's, building these businesses to understand that you can still show up for you, your family, and have everything you want.
Right on. Well, dude, man, I appreciate your time. Appreciate you coming here today, man. And as always, if you need anything, you know where to find us, man.
All right. Appreciate you, Mike.
Yes, sir.